Alright, so this is my gravel bike. It is an Otso Warakin, and over the past about 6 months I've put around 1,000 miles on it, including dirt roads, single track, pavement, hard crushed gravel, kind of everything and everywhere in between. So this is Otso's gravel bike, more adventure gravel bike. It comes in steel, as we see here, stainless steel, and also titanium. If you don't know, Otso is the sister company to Wolftooth Components. I know they're kind of, Wolftooth is probably a little more known in the mountain bike world rather than the road or gravel world. This isn't going to be too much of a complex review. If you want a deep dive into geometry, fit, tire clearance, the adjustable tuning chip in the back, go check out bikepacking.com's review or the Radivis review. I will link both of those in a pinned comment or description. Also, another disclaimer is that this is a demo bike. I purchased this as a lightly used demo bike. It came with GRX 600 in a 12-speed configuration with an 11 to 50 cassette and the GRX 600 rear derailleur. If you were to buy this right now off Otso's website, it would come with a GRX 800 rear derailleur with an 11 to 40 tooth. I don't know. Also, it came with Schwab G1 all-rounder tires, and the current configuration of the Warakin comes with some different tires. So getting into the specs of the bike, as of June 2025, this bike is going to retail for around $2,600 US, and with that you get a custom butted 4130 chromoly frame with 700 by 50 millimeters of tire clearance. However, in the Radivis review, they do talk about how you can fit probably something a lot larger in there. You get an adjustable geometry with the tuning chip back here. For this review and for my testing and my riding, I have always kept it in the longest setting. You are going to get on that 2025 model, the new model, you're going to get GRX 800 11 speed, not 12 speed. And you're going to get Sunringle Duroc G30 comp wheels, which are the same on here. And the current model, you're going to get Schwab G1 RS in 700 by 40C. So during about my 6 months of ownership, I have changed a couple things on this bike. First, the most important thing that I changed are the tires. Like I said, I received a bike with Schwab G1 all-rounder tires. That's in 45C. That's more of their all-road tire, or all-rounder as the name implies. I switched those over to some specialized Tracer Pros. The reason why I went with the Tracer Pros is because they were 50% off at my LBS. That is the only reason why I went with these tires, and I'm pretty happy with them. Second thing that I changed are the bars. I swapped the lithic corundums that this bike came with, and I put on some Ritchie Venture Max bars. Now, when you buy this bike new, you can spec more flared bars from the factory. However, like I said, I bought a demo model, and that's what mine came with. So I swapped them out for something a little more flared. And I also put a specialized power saddle on here. This bike came with a WTB Volt saddle, I believe. That's just a little too cushy for me, a little too much material. I gel very well with these specialized saddles. Some old SPD pedals that are probably just as old as I am, and a Amazon branded or Amazon generic China special Garmin mount that holds my Garmin just fine. I do have some cheap frame bags that I'll throw on here. But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. On to performance, and before we talk about performance, I will say this is a steel gravel bike. So this isn't going to be as zippy or as fast as your carbon road bike, but buying a steel bike, you should know that and go into this knowing that. So onto how it performs on pavement, roads, or light crushed gravel or rail trails, stuff like that. Honestly, not too bad. The geometry is conservative enough to where you don't get the drunken goat wheel flop that some of your modern gravel bikes do. You can still rail corners and have fun on just casual road rides, I'd say. It's not going to be a group ride ripper, but it's definitely not something that you're going to be avoiding pavement on. On gravel, probably where this bike is going to spend most of its time. On dirt roads, it works great. the steel is very compliant and gives you a nice ride. It's not harsh, it's not overly soggy. I think Otso did a very good job speccing this bike out. However, when riding on hard-packed gravel, it works great. However, when you get to dry and loose gravel roads, dirt roads, and trails, that's where the stock tires, the Schwab G1 All-Rounders, really kind of start showing their limitations. Granted, the bike that you will be buying for $2,500 currently does not come with those G1 All-Rounders, but still, from the looks of it, I would upgrade the tires. Same when getting onto like mountain bike trails. I've taken this on like some light flow trails and tame mountain bike trails, and it does pretty good. Obviously, you have to temper your expectations. It's a gravel bike, not a mountain bike, but you can definitely do some single track, go over some routes, and have fun. That's where a lot of my fun really is currently with riding. Here in Southeast Michigan, a lot of the mountain bike trails are pretty tame, and you can take a gravel bike on a lot of them. Obviously, you go slower and just be careful, but you can definitely have a lot of fun with a bike like this. I think the Warakin really provides a great one bike solution. Personally, if you're going to be doing a little more road riding than pavement riding, I think I would definitely look at the tie frame. I think that's the weight savings is gonna pay off on the road. Wrapping this up, we're gonna talk about its competition, where it kind of sits in the bike market, and what other bikes I would possibly consider getting. So at $2,600, you're kind of at the high end of aluminum and at the entry point for carbon. So for example, for $2,500, you can get right now and these prices as of June 2025, you can get $2,500 gets you a Diverge Sport Carbon. That's a mix of GRX 600, 400, and 800. And I'm sure that'd be a pretty nice bike. I used to have a previous gen Diverge Carbon. It was a great bike. $2,500 also gets you a Trek Checkpoint ALR5. That's at the top end of their aluminum offerings. I've ridden my dad's Checkpoint, and I have to say it's pretty sluggish for an aluminum bike. The wheels on that are pretty heavy. Or for even $2,600, you can get a Canyon Grizzle with Apex Explore Axis for $2,600, carbon frame with electronic SRAM shifting. Granted, that is consumer, and this is also direct to consumer, but you get the point. You can also get a Specialized Crux in aluminum for, I think, $2,500 as well. However, if you're looking at a steel gravel bike like this, you're probably not looking at mainstream options. And without sounding like a total hipster, you probably want something a little off the beaten path. You want something a little different. You want something that's going to stand out and not just be another Diverge or something. And I think this is where the Warakin really shines. It's a bike that you can feel proud of. The little logos that are put into the dropouts here, this little curved seat bridge, the paint, it really does give that custom steel bike look and vibe, but without the price tag. It really is truly a bike you can be proud to own. Now, with that being said, there's a lot of other bikes in that category too. If you're more of a road bias rider, I would check out the Blackheart All-Road in aluminum. You can get custom colors and whatnot. Or if you want to splurge even a little more, you can get a Linsky, a titanium US-made gravel bike by Linsky for around like $2,900. But you are probably going to be looking at a wait time, and titanium, I think, is that's a whole other conversation, but that's definitely a different conversation. But in general, I think this bike is a very well all-around bike, from some light road rides to all the way to, yucking it out in mountain bike trails. I definitely do not regret getting this bike. I have enjoyed all my 1,000 miles on it, and I plan to put, many more miles on it. I would probably, who would I say this bike is for and who would I recommend it for? I would say probably a mountain bike rider who wants to get into gravel on a budget but wants something kind of cool, wants something kind of bespoke. If you're a hardcore road rider, I would probably just get a Crux or a Diverge. But yeah, thanks for watching. This is kind of like my first chance or first hack at doing a bike review. So let me know how I did in the comments. Do you have a Warakin, and what do you think? So thanks for watching, and yeah, see you later.